I thought I would share the real story, for me, behind the Jack Daniel's Distillery tour that I posted a few days ago. Back in 2008, I had 4 life-changing things happen to me within just 3 weeks of each other. I almost lost my father. I almost lost my mother. I almost lost the use of my left hand, and I lost a 23-year career. That particular October started out to be the nightmare of my life. I can honestly say it was the worst time of my life. As far as the amount of stress on me, the amount of emotional damage control my body was continuing to do every day to fight, because this went on my mom and dad for 2 full months until they finally came out of rehab. After they came out of rehab, only then did I have my surgery to repair the ligaments in my hand. And it wasn't until a year later that the surgeon in Nashville knew whether or not he'd be able to give me back the use of my left hand. And then my career. I had intended to stay with this career and this particular company. I had already been with them for 15 years, and I had 23 years in the industry. I had intended to stay with them until I retired, and then beyond, doing per contract work. But that was not meant to be. So there were 4 things that I was processing. My body, my heart, my soul, my brain were all processing at the same time. I was down there living in my parents' home, going back and forth from each medical facility from 7 o'clock in the morning until 11 o'clock at night, and only then would I go back home and eat a meal. And I would make 7 trips back and forth each day between them to try to spend as much time with them as possible to help them fight for their lives. Well, after I'd had the surgery, and a year later the doctor said, it appears that it's okay, but at any time if you overwork it too much, if you're squeezing something too tight, it could pop again. I can't guarantee it, but it looks like even though you waited 3 months to have the surgery, it looks like it may be okay. Then I had to still deal with what was in here and what was in here. It took me another year or so to really get to the point where I could laugh again, where I felt like the real me was finally coming back. It had withstood so much pain and stress for so long that I had just been pounded further and further and further down. And that's the way one of my father's doctors described it. Each of those 4 things, and then dealing with my mom and dad for an ongoing basis, was just like this. And I know that's dramatic, but that's where I felt that I was so far down in this dark abyss, and I couldn't even reach the lip to pull myself back out. But those kind of things take time, and it takes loving yourself through that recovery, loving the fact that some days you don't want to see anybody, you don't want to go anywhere, you don't want to do anything. You just can't seem to handle much. Your brain, I call it putting it on pause. You can't organize things anymore. You can't remember things anymore. It's like your brain just blew a fuse, sort of, kind of, you know. And now I've replaced that fuse, and I was going on with my life. So that was sort of the first place that I went out that I can remember going and feeling like I could really enjoy myself. And at that point, I realized I was on my way back to the real me. So the Jack Daniel's Distillery, the tour, it has a special meaning to me. It has nothing to do with drinking or anything like that. It was just a tour that I could go on and learn something, enjoy being outside in the fresh air with my husband, and it was a great day. And every now and then when I'm driving by, I will just pull in and just walk around the grounds, which you can also do for free. I'll just walk around the grounds for a little while and just sort of replenish and remind myself that I'm in a much better place now than I was back then. So that's a little bit of my history and a little bit of the story behind why I happen to like Jack Daniel's Distillery and wanted to put together that video. I hope you have a special place in your life as well. Something that has a special meaning to you. I'd love to hear about it. If you'd like to leave a comment and tell me what it is. And if you'd like to spend some time with me and learn more about me, you can find me at bootkickyoursuccess.com. And I would love the opportunity to get to know you. Bye-bye.